We're in. We did it. We are live inside the community. I believe we are live inside the community. I have had a few technical hiccups, so my apologies for being 12 minutes late. It did seem as though we were live, and I checked, and we were live, but I don't know. Something happened, and we got kicked out, or I got kicked out. So I figured it out, and we're here, right? What do they say? Better late than never. Okay, so there was a few that actually wanted to jump on Zoom with me, and they did join Zoom on the previous attempt, but I had to close down Zoom and then reboot again. So if you want to join me live on Zoom, then you can do. What I'll actually do is I shall grab a link to the Zoom and I'll pop it inside chat here underneath. There we go. If you want to join me live on Zoom, then you can do. But we are going to dig in and we're going to get started with the presentation I want to share. And I am really, really excited. Sorry about my squeaking chair. I'm really excited to get this to you because this is going to be potentially like a training that you've never attended before or that you've never seen before. Because my intention is to really pull back the screens, the curtains, and show you exactly what you need to do to hit 10k months. Right? So if you're catching me live, then let me know. Hashtag live. If you're catching this on a replay, let me know that you've watched on a replay. I'm really interested to know who comes by, who watches. And if you've got any questions throughout any of this, just drop them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you at some point to answer those questions for you. So let me share my screen. I'm going to walk you through a presentation that I've just recently created that I'm really excited to share. And by the way, if I do sound a little bit groggy or nasally, it's because I am made up with cold. But hey ho, that doesn't stop us, right? That does not stop us. So let me know, right, if you are somebody that wants to hit 10k months. Let me know if you want to hit 10k months. Just drop 10k below if hitting 10k is on your radar. That's something that you are working towards hitting. Maybe you want to hit that in the next 30 days. Maybe you have a goal to hit that in the next 90 days. Maybe you want to do that by the end of first quarter. Maybe you want to do that by the end of the half of the year. Let me know if you want to hit 10k months. Also, let me know, like, how long has that been on your agenda? How long has that been a target? Has it been a target for the past 6 months? Has it been a goal of yours for the last 12 months? Is it a new goal that you've wanted to hit? By the way, I am actually going to be drinking a lot because I've got a cold. I am drinking loads. Cool, good stuff. Okay, so this is what I call the sequence code, and it's all going to become apparent as to why this is important in order for you to hit 10k months. It's super important. It's more important than you probably realize. But I can guarantee not many people have actually made you aware of this. Okay? So it's called the sequence code. Now, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. Walking through the door is walking into this training, right? So as you walk through this door, you're gonna close the door behind you, and you're inside the training. Now, just before you walk through the door, here's what I want you to do. And it's important that you do this. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to park all the drama that you have around your business, around hitting 10K months, around getting clients, around growth, around anything, right? Any doubt, any fear, any judgment, any, and just like limiting beliefs. I want you to just to park them, just for the next 50 minutes. Okay, so can we play a little game, right? I want you to park all your drama, leave it outside. It's okay. Don't worry. You can pick it up as you leave, right? You can pick it up as you leave, but I want you to park all drama before we go into the training. And it's important that you park the drama because if you don't park the drama, you're going to be carrying the drama with you, right? Brenda's just joined us live inside Zoom. So it's important before we move forward, right, that you're not going to carry with you all the baggage, all the limiting beliefs, all the doubts, all the fears, all the negative connotations that you have with anything you're growing your business, right? We're going to leave it outside the door, right? We're going to play a game. So walk through the door, park it all, close the door behind you, and let's move forward. I want you to step into, right, a growth setter's mindset. I want you to step into a growth setter's mindset. Let me explain what I mean by this. Most people, the way that they build their business is slow, it's tedious, right? It's painful, it takes too long. They're always breaking things, right? There's no speed, there's no momentum, there's no cadence, there's no rhythm to it. And because there's no speed, there's no momentum, there's no cadence, there's no rhythm to building their business, business is dragging, right? It's taking too long. I speak to people that's been trying to hit 10K months for well above 12 months. It shouldn't be that case, right? When you step into a growth setter's mindset, right, you're stepping into a mindset of growth, right? The first word of this mindset is growth. So we're stepping into growth. We're stepping into speed. We're stepping into creating momentum, pushing forward, not waiting on our laurels. Right? So this is the new mindset that I want you to carry forward. This is one of the reasons why I said to you, like, you leave your old mindset behind, leave all the doubts, all the fears, all the things that you're associating with the business, associating with growth, right? We're leaving that. I want you to step into a growth setter's mindset. Did you know, right, it's easier to hit your second million than it is your first 10K month or your first 10K sale? It's easier to hit your second million than it is to hit your first 10K month, which sounds a little bit daft, right? You'd think because the million is far greater than obviously 10K, it should be easier to hit 10K than it is to hit a million or to hit your second million. It's a lot harder to hit. Sorry, I've just knocked my light. It's a lot harder to hit your first 10K. Why is that? Because you've got no clear path of direction. You've got no clarity. You've got no certainty. You've got no validation. You don't know what works. You don't know what does work. Right? So you're living in chaos. You're juggling. Everything's up in the air. Does that make sense? If you're watching me live, does that make sense? Right? So why is it easy to hit your second million? Because you've hit your first million already. Once you've done it once, it's easy to do it again. In fact, once you've hit it once, you're going to hit it the second time a lot quicker, a lot faster, a lot sooner, right? Same as once you've hit your first 10K month, if you do it strategically, then it's going to be a lot easier to repeat that. But if you don't hit your first 10K month strategically and you don't know how you did it, then it's hard to replicate that, if that makes sense, right? So if you've struggled to hit your first 10K months, that's probably why. Because you have no clear direct path of action of what you need to do in order to make it happen, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do, right, throughout all of this, we are going to build in order. We're going to build in order and we're going to scale in order. And again, all this will come apparent as we go through this. Here's my promise to you, right? This is how I'm going to show up for this. Even I've got a headache, I've got a cold, I'm nasally, right? I've got a sore throat. This is the way that I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up as a mentor who's going to tell you the truth. Now, that truth might create a trigger. You might not want to hear the truth, but you need to hear the truth in order to get the outcome. So would you prefer a mentor to show up, right, not to tell you the truth, for you then not to get the results, or would you prefer to hear the truth? Let me know in the comments below. Would you want the truth, or do you want just fluff, like what everybody else teaches you, and that's potentially why you're still struggling? Brenda, yes, truth, always, right? Always, always the truth. The truth sets us free. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Okay, so the truth. As you are building your business, right, there are phases inside the growth of your business. But if you don't know this, then you don't know. You only know what you know. And most people don't know everything, right? So, but as you are building your business, there's actually growth phases within inside your business. So let me explain what I mean by this. So we're going to start here. Phase one. What is phase one? Well, phase one's the foundations of you building your business. And what's important in foundation one, right, in phase one, is foundation, building your foundations, and also consistency with the actions that you need to take in order to be able to hit phase one. So what is phase one as in growth? So phase one is kind of like from 0 to 30K. From 0 to 30K. So if you are in between 0 to 30K, then you're in phase one. To be truthful, what I could do, what I should have done, and what I think is more in alignment and what's more correct is that it shouldn't be 0. Okay? Because if you're at 0, then you're not really in business, right? You're not really in business until you start making sales. So that should really be 5K. That should really be 5K. So from 5K up to 30K, or maybe 2.5K up to 30K. And there's a reason why 30K is capped, and it doesn't go above and beyond that. But I'll explain that as we get further into this. And then we step into phase two. So once you've achieved phase one, right, we can step into phase two. Phase two is all about stabilizing and expansion. And the revenue for that, my terminology, is between 30K and 60K months. And then we can step into phase three. Once you've done that, you step into phase three. Phase three then is all about creating leverage, right, and scaling. How many times, let me ask you this, how many times have you set yourself, and I'm chuckling, right, because I think I've had 2 people say this to me today, and I have people say this to me every day. They'll say to me, Andy, I'm scaling. Oh, right, okay, and ask him, where are you in like your monthly turnover? How many sales are you making each month? I haven't made any sales yet. Okay, so you've not made any sales yet, but you're scaling. Can you see like how that is out of congruency, right? So anyway, but these are the phases. Phase one, phase two, and phase three. The phase one is the foundation. Phase two is where you're stabilizing and expanding. And phase three is where you're creating leverage and scaling. Now, if you just look at these 3 phases individually, separately, by themselves, right? Each phase has got different priorities. Each phase has got different levers. Each phase has got different systems. Each phase has got different offers, and each phase you're going to hire different people. But everybody's treating everything the same, and it just doesn't make sense. So it's important to understand which lane you're in before you even start building. People don't think about this. People don't look at this. People don't speak about this. And this is why most people are broke in business. This is why most people are not generating the cash flow that they need to generate. This is why most people's strategies are not working, which we're going to talk to, and we're going to dig deeper into as we're going through this. But it's so important that you understand this and you see this out, right? I want to speak to this. I want to make it so simple and understandable that you can see where you're at and you can see where you're going next, right? And it's important that you build from where you're at. So this training is obviously about phase one, foundations and consistency. Let me just tell you a little story which I've not told many times. I told it in my email earlier on today, but not many people know about this. But I have spoke about this, but it's something I just don't speak about that often, which I should do. So if I went back, maybe 8, 9 years ago, right? I had an offline consultancy business, built it up quite quickly, quite successful. I had clients in my local community, in local cities. I was running Facebook ads for companies. It was all good, right? And then I pivoted online. It was slow, but it was okay. My clients were successful. My clients were generating a lot of sales. They were flying, like it were amazing for them. And then it got to a time where my business wasn't as successful as my clients. My clients' businesses was more successful than mine, right? Something was up. I didn't understand why. I took time out. I had to figure things out. And then I understood, right? I think I secretly knew, but I just weren't taking ownership of it. Once I took ownership of it, I could see it and I acted on it and I changed things around. The problem was I wasn't taking the right action that I needed to take in order to generate results. Right? My clients were following my advice, but I weren't following my own advice, right? Have you ever done that before? Right? We're not swallowing our own pill. Well, that happened to me 8, 9 years ago. Things had to change, right? So I fully immersed myself into what I know I needed to do. I kept things simple. I got obsessed. I was obsessed anyway. I am always obsessed. I think obsession is a good thing. I threw myself into it, and in 2 weeks, I did $67,000, right, in new business, not cash collected, but $67,000 of new business in 2 weeks. And you can see the breakdown there, right, of the sales. So I did a $1,500 VIP day. On the back of that $1,500 VIP day, I upsold the guy into a £25,000 year long mastermind. A few days later, I did a 12K deal for 6 months, and then I did a 12K deal for another 6 months with Claire, and then I did 6K for 90 days with David, and then you can see, right, Richard, who was a PT in my local area, signed on for a 60K client as well. 67K in 2 weeks. It was like bump, 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 bump. How? Why? When things were broken, did I do that? Because I knew what I knew. And I knew what I had to do in order to make that happen. I knew what I needed to do, right? And when you understand business, when you understand what levers to pull on, once you understand what lane you're in, and once you understand what you need to do in that lane, right, you start generating results. But I see so many people just scattered everywhere. They're over there, they're doing this, and they're doing this, and then they're doing this, and then they're ditching this, and then they're doing this. And it's crazy to watch. It's absolutely ludicrous, and nobody's calling them out on it. Nobody's pinpointing it. And other people are just allowing them to do it. If you look at any successful CEO, right, offline business, right, they stay in their lane. And then they have growth. And then they stop in the lane. And then they have growth. But everybody on the line, they're just everywhere. And it's killing business. They're looking for fancy solutions, right? They're running ads. They're building funnels. Expensive software. Go high level. Right? You don't need any of this. You shouldn't be investing. You should not be investing in any expensive software, right? If your business is not profitable, if your business doesn't warrant it. But people are seeking fancy solutions. Building funnels. And they're not even validated their offer, right? So again, I'm going to speak direct because that's the only way that I can speak truthfully. And if you don't like hearing the truth, then maybe you shouldn't be in business. Maybe you shouldn't be in business. If you're not willing to take advice, maybe you shouldn't be in business, right? Complex automations goes with go high level, right? But complex automations, you don't need any automations in phase one. And I'll prove it to you. Also, hire agencies. So many people say, yeah, I like this strategy, but I think I'm going to hire somebody to do it. Let me give you a bit of advice to that, right? you're hiring a VA, you're hiring a setter, you're hiring an agency to take work off you because you don't want to do it, but you're the CEO of the business, but you're not willing to do what you ask other people to do. It's all about you doing a little bit first, right? It's all about, I understand creating leverage, but you can't create leverage if you've not learned how to do it yourself. You're giving somebody else the controls of your destiny of generating sales when you've not been learned how to generate your own sales yet. But you're going to give it to somebody else and let them figure it out. You're going to let them figure it out on your money. It doesn't make sense. Not in my logical world anyway, right? But they don't want to do it. Here's what I would say to that. I'll just go back. Here's what I would say to that is roll up your sleeves, jump in the trenches, right? And do some work. Get to work. Like Stephen Pressfield says in his work, in his book, do the work. Learn how your business operates. Understand what works. And then I've got no problem in creating leverage, right? And giving it to somebody that can help you, a VA, but don't let them fail on your behalf on your money. Figure out what works first and then give them something that works, right? And then you're duplicating success, if that makes sense. And then launching like a 7-figure brand, right? You need to have the ultimate brand in place. You need to have everything, all the T's crossed, all the I's dotted. You need to have the email marketing. You need to have the images. You need to have the photos. You need to have the brand. You need to have the branding colors. You need to have the branding message. You need to have like all the format laid out. You need the team. Like it's crazy how some people are trying to grow their business, operate their business, run their business when they've not even hit 10K months yet. It's a problem. It's a problem. You need to validate first, automate second. Validate first, automate second. And I learned this as well the expensive way, right? I don't want you to learn the expensive way. I learned the expensive way. Validate first. Get sales. Get clients. Put them through your process, right? Understand your ecosystem. Understand what you need to do to take a client from cold to warm to hot. Understand all the nuance in between, right? Get things working. Get the wheels of the cogs turning. And then once that's working and you've validated it, then you can move forward with that, right? But it just does not make sense to run ads, to build funnels, to have expensive software, to build complex automation systems, to hire agencies, to launch like a 7-figure brand when you've not even. And the biggest problem that I feel that this is, like most people don't have a sales problem, they have an ego problem that's reflected on their sales results. Because they want to be seen as the best. They want to be seen like, shall we say, Frank Kern, or they want to be seen like Melanie and Leia. They want to be seen like all these people that's doing 7-figure, maybe 8-figure launches. But you're not in that lane. You're not in that lane. Again, I'm bringing the truth. And he's killing your business. So here's what we need to understand. Is that phase 1 is you repeatedly hitting 10K months, 20K months, 30K months. Because I've had conversations with people before and they say, yeah, 10K month. My business does 10K months. Okay, cool. So what did your business do last month? Oh, 7.5K. Okay. What did your business do before that? 10K. What did your business do before that? Oh, 4K. Okay, you're not a 10K month, right? You've not built consistency into your business. There's still a lot of validation that needs happening before you can say that your business is a 6-figure business. Once you can hit 10K months, and you can do that, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, right? Right, you're in phase 1. You've built sustainability. You've built repeatability inside your business. I hope this makes sense. Excuse me. I'm going to have a drink. it's no point in just hitting it once and then not hitting it again and having no consistency. Remember, going back to what I said, phase one is building foundations and building consistency. So it's important, right, as you are building this out, that you build out the foundations and you build everything out in your business so it's repeatable, it's sustainable, and you're hitting it each month. Because once you know how to hit 10k months on repeat, right, you now know how to make money on repeat. You know where your next client is coming from on repeat. You build predictability in your business, which most people don't have. And if all else fails, you know how to hit 10k whenever you want to hit 10k. But we need to build repeatability in your business. There's no point in just hitting it once, having a spike, and then not having it again, and then having a spike 3 months later, and then not hitting it again. That's not a 10k month, right? There's a lot of people that hit it once, but because they didn't have any structure to hitting it the first time, then they can't repeat it the second time because it was hit and miss. Make sense? So it's about having that system, that repeatable system that you can hit each and every month. You see, if we don't follow the path I'm laying out right now, right, what are we creating? We're creating premature complexity. And let's speak to that, right? Because if you are building your business out of order of sequence, then what you're going to be feeling and what you're going to be finding and what you're going to be experiencing is that you're fighting fires when you shouldn't even know that those fires exist, right? You're always fighting fires. You're always putting fires out. Things are always breaking. You're always having to mend stuff. Things are always feeling disjointed. Things feel a little bit more advanced than where you actually currently are in business, if that makes sense, right? You're creating premature complexity that you shouldn't even know exists, that you shouldn't even be facing, that you shouldn't even have to understand how to manipulate, how to figure out how to build things back up. You shouldn't even know how to mend that. You shouldn't even know that problem exists because your business isn't where it needs to deal with that problem. So you're building premature complexity into your business because you're building your business out of order of sequence. So more at $18,000 in 90 days, right? In phase one, no complexity, no problems, simple, and just by showcasing what I'm going to walk you through today. Same as Caesar from London. He'd been struggling for a long time in the econ system, in the econ world, sorry. Came aboard and he did £31,000 in 60 days. As you can see there, he had his largest client at £16,000. We brought him in his lane. We made his business simple, and we put him on one direct path, and he made sales. Dean, £17,000, 90 days, and then we got Dr. Darlene from California, $15,000 in 30 days. We've got Bishal. Like, these people are all in the lane. They're not jumping from lane to lane. They're not building any complexity. There's no funnels. There's no ads. There's no email marketing. There's no nothing. It's just understanding what needs to happen in order to move forward. Olive, $27,000 in 43 days. Tanya from London, £5,000 for a 30-day coaching container, which I believe that she only actually scheduled in 3 or 4 calls. Amazing. Julie from California, $50,000 in 90 days. Like, it's on. Understanding the lane that you're in, focusing on the lane that you're in, and moving forward. Here's the problem, right? It's impossible to hang fancy pictures on walls that haven't even been built yet. And that's what people are doing, right? Because they've not built the grassroots, they're not set solid the foundations, they're not dug deep enough into what they do, how they do it, and built a message around that, and then built a structured offer around that, and everything else that they need to do to have these rock solid foundations in place. They're not validated their offer, yet they're trying to do all these fancy things. And I associate it to like trying to hang fancy pictures on walls that's not even being built yet. It doesn't make sense. Like try to figure that out, right? It just doesn't make sense. Brenda, thank you very much. That's so kind of you. Um, so let's. I'm gonna have a drink first. What do we need? Right? Let's strip it back. Let's strip it back to its root core. Keep things super simple. I know you're already overwhelmed, right? I know you've already built a lot of complexity. I know that your head's in many different places, right? That's why I said park all your drama in the dark room before you enter this, right? So you need one offer, and I'm going to speak to that, and I'm going to simplify that for you. But you need one offer. You need one offer, price point between 3K and 5K. If you've never sold to that much, that high, and you think that's high, in the world of coaching today, 3K, 5K is not high. If you believe that's high, then maybe there's some money issues that you need to deal with, right? That's your own self-identity that's showing up that's potentially stopping you from selling at that level, right? But it's solvable, right? There's a solution to that, and we can help you through that. But if you want to hit 10K months, it's a lot easier to hit 10K months by selling maybe like 2 offers at 5K than trying to sell 10 offers at $1,000, right? So, but 3K, 5K, that's not high ticket in today's world. But you need one offer at this relative price point, not several offers, one offer. You need one trust builder ecosystem. I'm going to walk you through that, right? I'm going to keep it simple. It's a repeatable system that you can put people through. And when you put people through it, that system kicks out results. So you need a repeatable system. And why does it need to be repeatable? Well, if you want to hit 10K months on repeat, then you need to have a system to be able to generate those results. And again, why people hit it, it's like hit and miss. And that's why they say it's like ebbed and flow, right? Is because they don't have a system in place. If you look at any 7-figure, 8-figure business owner, they have systems. Now, I'm not going back on my word by saying, well, you shouldn't be doing what 7-figure, 8-figure business owners do. You still need a system at this level, right? But a lower, easier system. You need an ecosystem. So you need a system in this marketplace that creates that trust. It builds that trust quick, because trust has just gone in the coaching space. And you need calls. You need pre-qualified calls. Because pre-qualified calls, right, the more calls that you have, the more offers you can make. And those who make the most offers generates the most sales. Simple, right? So one offer, one trust builder ecosystem that you're going to put people through. And then on the back of that, you're going to be booking pre-qualified calls. And why it's pre-qualified is because people have actually gone through the ecosystem. So by the time they jump on a call, right, they are just, they know everything about you. They know everything about you in order for them to make a decision, a buying decision. In fact, when they're booking on one of these calls, they're not booking a strategy session, they're not booking a discovery call, they're not booking a sweet spot, they're not booking a coffee chat, they're not booking nothing apart from they're applying to work with you. They're applying to work with you. And when people apply to work with you, you change the dynamics of business. You totally change the dynamics of business. But make more offers. So let's just speak to booking calls, right? Because I see people creating posts, long posts with a breakdown of their offer and then a call link. Book a call. My great offer here. Yet there's no trust being built. They've not been pre-qualified. There's no touch points in place. They just expect people just to see a post or several posts and then just book a call and then just happily invest like $5,000. It's like, would you do that? I know I wouldn't do that if trust wasn't there. If I hadn't spent a little bit more time with that person to get to know them a little bit more, to understand that they've got a full solution, not just an offer. Like people are talking about, oh, you need an offer. Well, I've got that there, but what I truly mean is that you actually need the full solution. Just having a one-line offer is no longer good enough in today's market space. You need to be able to showcase that you've got that full solution that can deliver on that big promise, if that makes sense. So just having posts out there and just posting your link to them booking a call with you isn't going to get them into a place where they're absolutely pre-qualified to want to work with you. So let's have a look at the offer, right? The power of one. Your business gets easier and more profitable the more you commit to one. So let's speak to this. So what am I talking about when I say an offer? Because most life coaches, most coaches, even if you're not a life coach, Brenda, I know that doesn't apply to you. You got an amazing offer, but most coaches, right? They've got a huge message. They've got a massive message, but the message isn't specific enough. The message is too broad. The message is speaking to too many people. The message is speaking to too many pain points. The message is speaking to too many outcomes. And because the world is a noisy environment, that message isn't cutting through because it's not specific enough. It's not dialed in enough. There's no relatability to anyone specifically because there's just no specificity within inside the message. So we need to zone into one message that you know that when you get that message into a specific marketplace, it's going to grab their attention. That message needs to be pointed into one marketplace, not 2, 3, or 4 marketplaces, into one marketplace, directed to speak to one specific person who's struggling with one problem, and you've got one offer to position in front of them. You've got one methodology, one price point, one delivery mechanism, and there's one outcome on the back end of that, right? So you can just see how super simple and lean it is. And when you take out complexity of your business structure and you build it from the power of one principle, right, then you've got one hierarchy message that you beat the drum about each and every day, all day long. And then people get to know you associated to this message. This is what Brenda does. This is what Linda does. This is what, right? So you're associated to this message, and you're constantly beating the drum about this message in this marketplace for this person. And now everything is tied together, and you can talk about this specific problem for this specific person in this marketplace with your message. And you've now got an offer, right? So you can see the pathway, you can see the integrity built into it, you can see how it's all in alignment. And when you have everything aligned like this, then business is easier to run, it's easier to manage, and it's simpler to operate. And people know who you are, what you do, and this is when you can elevate your status to a level of where you're positioning yourself as a category of number one. But if you're serving everything to everyone in every marketplace, like today, it's going to be hard. And I know it's already hard enough, right? So it's important that you understand this. So now let's have a look at the trust ecosystem. Now, there's a lot of psychology built into this. And you don't need any fancy software, any fancy funnels, anything like this. Like, you can do this straight after this, right? It's so super simple. It doesn't take a long time to build in. Sorry, excuse me. One of the guys that joined us just a little over a week ago, Jess, posted about him on my profile earlier on today. Within a space of just over a week, he's got everything built out, and now he's in what I call phase 2 of my build it grow it and then master it. Is now in phase 2, where he's actually out there now growing this and making this happen. So it's important, first and foremost, right? Let's just have a look at the color-coded sequence underneath each image, right? It starts with blue. And then as we move forward, you can see these colors changing, right, to orange. And then a little bit to red until we're totally red. So this is how you can take a prospect from cold to warm to hot, as you can see under here, right? These are like temperature gauges. So we're turning people from cold to warm to hot. Most people don't know how to do this. Most people don't even think about this. And if they do think about this, they think they need to have a funnel, right? It's not. You don't. You do it this way. So first and foremost, it's important that you're able to spotlight active leads or active buyers in your marketplace. 90% of your marketplace, they're not interested in buying. So if they're not interested in buying, it's a lot harder to convert those people into buyers. So let's have a look at the percentage of your marketplace who are already active leads. They're already active out there in the marketplace looking for a solution, right? Or maybe people that's already bought. And I had this conversation with Jess earlier on today, because he says, well, can we just talk about like identifying levels of or spotlighting marketplaces? And I said, absolutely. Let's talk about that now. Like you can either go into like a paid audience, or you can go into free groups, right? People have already done the heavy lifting. People have already built communities. People have already like got thousands and thousands and thousands of people inside communities of your audiences. So we just need to be in there. Like that's nothing new. But what was new to Jess was, look, well, if you want to speak to or get in front of more qualified people, qualified buyers, then let's find people in your space that's running ads, that's running funnels, there's like spending a lot of money on ads, and they're selling, say, like a $17 offer or a $27 offer. And when you purchase that offer, on the back end of the offer, you also get access to a community. Now, everybody that's gone through that offer and paid $27 and now inside that community, they're all buyers, right? So let's say that this community now is full of 6,500 people that's all suffering with this problem that you can solve. All these people in here, these are buyers. Now, these are more qualified people. They've only invested $27 or $17 or even $1, right? But they are buyers. They are people that's got their credit card out, physically typed in their credit details, bought something, and then access to a community. They're buyers. Now, I'm not going to go into why you should be it's obviously why you should be there, but access to a community of buyers, right? For $27 or whatever it is, like it's even worth a couple $100 to do that, because in order for you to get access to that many people through paid ads would cost you thousands of dollars. But anyway, spotlighting targeted leads buyers. Activation content. You need content on your profile in order to be able to, because when they connect with you, right, they will want to suss you out. They want to see what you're up to. They want to see what you're all about. They want to consume some of your material. Like, why would they connect with you if what is on your profile isn't relevant to them? So we need content, relevant content, activation content, not just like your how-to steps that what people generally post, value posts. People don't need more value posts. What they need is activation posts. They need activating. So activation content. Now again, you can see the dynamics here changing already from blue to warm a little bit, because if they consume some of your content, it doesn't take long, right, for them to start, I'm not saying they're fully trusting you, right, but them to be consuming some of your material. And then you want to be like inviting them, like having a welcome message, taking things from public to private. That's one of the things that helped me to become really successful as I was building my offline my offline consultancy business, is that I would meet people in public in networking events, and then I would take that conversation private, right? Well, it's the same online. So they meet you in public, but then you take that conversation private. Why would you always want to be having a conversation in public? You take it private, right? So they've stepped into your world, they've accepted your friendship. Like not to engage with them is, I think, for me, it's rude. So you have a conversation with them, you welcome into your world, you invite them into your community if they want to. Right, it's a non-threatening invitation. Hey, I've got this community. You might be interested, you might not be interested, but just in case you are interested, right? I've got a community that does X, Y, Z, where we do this and blah blah blah. Would you like to join? Oh, I'd love to join. Okay, welcome. So you give them the link to your community. Now, in your community, they're answering the 3 filtering questions. What they're first with when they come into the community, and then once they answer all those 3 questions, the second question is you're going to give them something in advance in return, or sorry, not in advance, in return for that email address. So they're going to put their email address in the second question. Now, all this is automated for me. It doesn't need to be automated. You can just copy that email address. And then, in fact, I'll share this with you right now because you might not know this. I only found out this a few weeks ago that Facebook used to get rid of all those 3 questions, right? Now they don't. Facebook store them away, but if you didn't, it's quite deep inside Facebook, but you can find the answers to the questions. So even somebody joined your Facebook community 3 months ago, as long as the questions are still the same questions and you've not changed the questions, then the answers are still there and you can still get that access to them. So anyway, I go from tangent, but yeah, you can do that now, which is pretty cool. But you can just swipe their answers, put their answers into a database, and then put their email address into your email campaign, and then you can actually just, now you're building a list, right? I have a welcome video inside the community where you are tagging everybody individually inside the welcome video as they come into the community. Because what this is all about is about compounding touch points. If you understand why our people get into position of where they get to trust you, it's about compound effect of touch points. Most people are not creating these touch points. We are engineering touch points. So we're making it happen, right? So welcome into the tag video. And then once they're in, welcome message. Hey, Brenda, welcome to the community. So happy that you joined the community. I noticed that you entered your email address in to get access to the free training. Check your emails in the next 10 minutes. That should land. And then also, I actually went live last week with another training that talks about XYZ. I think it'd be really beneficial to you. Would you like to watch it? And then they come back and say, oh, wow, yeah, it'd be like really cool to watch that. Yeah, can I watch a replay? Cool, excellent, no problem at all. So you've gone live as well inside the community. Everything's tied, everything's relevant, everything's relatable. So then you drop them a tag into the live, right? Or a link to the live, or you tag them underneath the live. So now you can see, right, the touch points that we are engineering. We're not leaving it to chance. We're engineering it. We're making it happen. We're in control of it. And then they've got access to that. And then continue the conversation. Ask them questions. Hey, I noticed that when you entered the community, you told me that your next goal that you wanted to hit in the next 90 days is X, Y, Z, whatever it is that they told you they want to hit. Tell me, how's that going? So now, right, you're opening a conversation and you're digging deep, you're fact finding. So you can ask a few more questions. And then what you can do, you can say, hey, you know what? I'm not sure if you're aware, but next week I'm actually doing a challenge, a 5-day challenge or a 3-day challenge. Or maybe it's just a micro event where it might be like a 90-minute session or mastermind or a workshop or whatever it may be, right? But whatever it is, right, you are dedicating your time to serve and take people through a training. Say, hey, I'm holding this event next week. Would you like to come and work with me for free? Right? Because in effect, that's what you're doing, right? You're serving. In effect, you are working with them. Would you like to come and work with me for free for the 5-day event, for the 3-day challenge? If so, send them a link to a registration page. It might not be a Zoom event. It might be a landing page, whatever it may be. Collect their name and email address. They register. Invite them into a community chat hub. Right? Let me just share the importance of this. So you've had conversations in public. You've had conversations in private. This is now having conversations back in public, But this is going to create more social proof because there's no longer just them inside the conversation. There's also going to be another 5, 6, 7, 18, 20, 25 people that's registered for the event that's all inside the same chat, right? So you create a little bit of leverage there. You can now communicate to everyone. So now your credibility has now skyrocketed because other people can see how you are coaching and speaking to other people. Your social proof has just gone through the roof. So by the time, imagine this, right? By the time they have gone through all of this and they attend the event, do you think like the level of trust is just climbed, right? Absolutely. Now, let's remove this, right? Let's remove this. Let's just say you're going to run an event and you just invite people to the event. They've never experienced you. They don't know you. They've never had any touch points. They've never watched any of your videos. They're not inside your community. You've not done anything with them, right? And you invite them to the event. And you expect the event to do all the heavy lifting on one touch point. And then people leave and they don't buy. And you ask yourself why. And then this is why most people say, oh, I run events. I do challenges. How many people bought? Nobody. Oh, well, I wonder why. It's because the people are expecting the event to do all the heavy lifting. And they're not understanding the principles of how people build trust in a marketplace where there's no trust. Right? So it's important. Now, let's have a look at this as well, right? Because it might be overwhelming. You might think, well, there's a lot of movement there. It's like easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If I can do it, anybody can do it, right? Because once the live's done, it's done. You do a live once in every week, right? Once the video's done, it's done. Once your group's set up, it's done. Once your registration page is done, it's done. Once you understand the cadence of the conversations in between each steps, then it's just the same. Right, so once it's built in, that's why the phases of the sales room is like build it, grow it, and then master it. Once you built it out, which you can do in 10 days less, smart bears less, as what Jess has done, then you just need to growing it. And then it's just a case of putting people through the process, right? If that makes sense. And I'm just going to have a quick drink. Brenda, you ask about am I doing the same event every time? I kind of mix. Like I have like one main event, which I'll do. And what I'll do is like if you understand, which I know you do, but if you understand like build it, grow it, and master it. So I'll have one main slide deck that I built out, which will be 4 days. And then what I'll do throughout the times that I run it, I just tweak it, so I'm mastering it, right? So that kind of like once it's built, but I just up level it, tweak it, change a few things, because you'll understand that like as you deliver something might have not worked as well as you wanted to work, or it might not have come across as efficient as you wanted it to do. So you might just tweak a few things, but essentially it's like it's all the same. It's just up leveled. But then what I will do as well, like this is not like a long event, so I'll just drop mini ones in. Which I didn't really promote this. I only just wanted to do this. I thought about doing this a few days ago. So yeah, to answer your question, I hope that answers that. Are you welcome? But remove this, right? And again, you're just allowing on the event to do all the heavy lifting. It just does not make sense. Like my the way that I believe about doing anything is like if you're going to do it, let's do it properly. If you're not going to do it properly, then there's no point in doing it. So let's do it properly the first time, generate the results from it because you did it properly. So many people are trying to remove things. They're trying to make it too easy, too simple. Like you're building a business. People remortgage their houses to build a business. People like don't see the families for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day because they're building a business. They sacrifice a lot to build a business. They sacrifice a lot because they want something that they've never had before, or they want to make an impact in the world that they've never had before. They want to change their own life. They want to earn money that they've never earned before. Yet you're trying to remove parts. I can't comprehend that. And I know, Brenda, I think like you got the same philosophy as well. It's like, stop making things easy. Stop trying to find the path of least resistance when you're trying to create something and build something of greatness. Something that's going to provide you and your family with something that's going to be like, allow you to have the holidays and the freedom that you've never had before. Oh, it's either that or get a job. I just can't fathom, right? But that's the way, again, that's my mentality. So let's have a look at the focused path, right? Which, like, if that wasn't focused enough, let's get a little bit more. Well, it's not necessarily granular, but organic lead generation. How do you generate leads? Okay, well, put people into your group each and every day. That's how you generate leads. Anybody that steps into your group is created because it solves a problem for a specific person that's wanting a specific outcome. Then anybody that steps into that community, they're there for a purpose, they're there for a reason. So, organic lead generation, right? Filter people into the group. Grow your group daily. 3 to 7 new members a day. I had a conversation this afternoon with a client, and I said, so, because we had an accountability call today, and that's something else I'm going to show you as well. Because again, it's just the way that we look at like developing ourselves as CEOs. But like one of the questions on the accountability call was like, you know, what have you achieved this like what's some of the small goals that you've achieved this week? And she was like, don't really know. And I'm like, okay, well, how many people's entered your group? Well, not many. Okay, well, she just started a new group. And I said, okay, well, you had 19 people in the community when I last went in, which was like a few days ago. How many people's in there now? She was like 48, and then I've got another like 2 people that's like pending, that's ready to come in. And I'm like, you're not celebrating that? You're not celebrating that you've got 48 new group members into your group, which like a few weeks ago you didn't have this group, and now you're starting to build it. I says, you look at that on a pathway. Another week's time, you got another 48 people in, and then another week's time, you got another 48 people in, and then you got 500 people in, and then you got 1,000 people in, and then like you're on the right path of growth. It's the small numbers each and every day. People are, yeah, I got 3 people, I got 5 people. You do that consistently, consecutively, right? That's how you're going to get to 10K a month. Not by doing, oh, well, I only got 3 people in or 7 people in, it's not worth it. Every day, compound effect. Serving the marketplace, filling your ecosystem. People go into your community, push them through the ecosystem, as I showed you, right? The ecosystem. Get 15 to 20 people on micro events. Get people to want to come onto your events, and where you're going to do that is put them through the ecosystem. Once you got them through the ecosystem, you don't need a lot of people into your micro events. We're not looking for like the Tony Robbins who had however many millions or 900,000 people he had on his AI event. Can't quite remember, where he did 11 million in sales. You don't need that. We're not looking for that. You're not that, right? So there's no, we're just not a comparison. You're only looking for 15, 20, 25 people, 10 people, the right people on a community. I was speaking to somebody a few weeks ago. They had 1 person on their event. Right? Amazing. Whoa, that 1 person gets one-to-one attention. It's a private coaching call. She sold an $18,000 offer. It's insane. On the back end of that, you're going to book qualified calls, pre-qualified calls. You're going to be able to sell your program. These type of numbers, you master it, you perfect it, right? You get better at it. It's gonna yield in 2 to 4 new clients on a monthly basis. And if you're selling 3K, 5K, that's what you're going to be doing. 12K, 15K, 20K sales. So the foundation, validate your offer, predictable cash flow, client wins. These are the only things they need to be focusing on. Validating the offer, predictable cash flow. If your business isn't generating cash flow right now, I'm sorry, if your business isn't generating cash flow, then you can't run a business without cash flow. You just can't. And that's why most people, I believe, they get burnt out. There's no cash coming in. The business is not working. Um, Things are just flatlined. There's no effort. There's no energy. There's no synergy. There's no alignment. It's just, that's when, again, people get burnt out. You need cash flow to survive in business. Cash is king. Cash is king. And client wins, right? You want client wins, because what does client wins? Well, that client wins propels everything else. You can promote your client wins to like everybody that's inside the ecosystem. So, and it also helps you to validate the offer as well. So let's have a look at the numbers, right? So growing the community, right? Three to five new people per day. That's 35 a week. Over a month, that's 140 people. Right? You might not think, well, that's massive growth. It's growth, right? Growth setters mindset. At the end of the year, that's 1,600 people inside your community. That's 1,600 people inside your community that know you, that trust you, that like you, that's experienced you. There's like all these touch points. Do you think you know where your next client is coming from if you've got a community like that? Like, yes, you do. Let's have a look at different numbers, right? 5 to 10 new group members a day. That's 70 a week. That's 280 a month. That's over 3,360 by the end of the year. 3,600 people that's gone through the ecosystem, that's attending your events or attended your events, right? Do you know where your next client is coming? Can you see how things are growing? And again, on micro events, you don't need a lot of people, 20, 25 people, pre-qualified attendees. People who've gone through the ecosystem, not skipped a section, the ecosystem. Think about, why am I doing this right now? Why am I doing this? I've not promoted it, right? I've not promoted it. I just sent an email out. I posted on Facebook earlier on. Nobody's attended. I've got Brenda here, right? I don't know who's watching online, right? Am I phased? No. Why? Because I'm going to control this, right? And I'm going to drive people to this. So whilst there's not a lot of people that are actually watching it, this is a sales asset that I've built that I'm going to be using and using and using and using strategically. So 60-minute masterclass or a longer 3-day, 5-day challenge, right? Application calls on the back end of it, 5-7 book calls, 3 to new clients. If you're selling 3K, 5K or whatever, 15K, 25K sales, and you do this on rinse and repeat, month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, you might do ones, you might do them every other week. You might do them every 3 weeks, right? It depends on how quick you want to move. It depends on if you need immediate cash flow, right? But once you've done them and once you've got things down, you can have bigger events, and you just have bigger events each and every month throughout the year. So now you've got a repeatable, sustainable system that's on repeat, and you know what you're doing. You're just bringing people into the ecosystem, the right people, getting them through the system, where on the back end you can serve them, and on the back end, because you've taken them through so much, right, now you warrant the right to make an offer. You warrant the right to make an offer because you've served them so much and you built up so much trust. You've gave them so much in advance that when you made the offer, right, they're ready for it. They're absolutely ready for it. So then when people actually book a call, they're actually booking a call because they're applying to work with you. They're not applying for a strategy session or a discovery spot or a sweet spot or whatever you call it, a coffee chat or whatever it is, or to figure out what they need to do or to learn more about you. No, cut that crap. It's business. People should be applying to work with you. And when you take them through the ecosystem, you can do that. But not taken through the ecosystem, and then you can't do that, right? So, again, screenshots, right, of conversations with clients that I've had having results. So, here's where I believe potentially I've earned the right to position an offer in front of you. And if you're interested in applying to work with me, then all you need to do is just scan the QR code at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, as you can see right now, to have a conversation, a deep conversation about what it looks like to actually work with me. So here's the full package of what we get down the left hand side. So it's 12-week sales roadmap. So it's a 12-week plan, but you actually get 12-month group coaching support. Sorry, excuse me. Not the perfect time to want to blow your nose. Okay, so you get 12-month coaching support. Why is this? Here's why it is. It's because I don't want you to have hit and miss, right? I don't want you to come into my world, to step into my closer proximity of me, and then we have to figure it all out. There's going to be some things that breaks, and then whatever it is, right? You're going to have some challenges. Life happens. Life throws challenges. And then we get to the end of 90 days, and it's like, you're out. It's gone, right? I don't work like that. So it's 12 months support because I know, right, you're going to have ups and downs. I know you're going to work at your own speed, your own pace. I know that you're going to have challenges, right? There's things that need to be figured out. I'm going to help you with that, but I want to give you time to do that, right? So you can build that sustainability into your business, so you can do it. And like, environment is key when you're building a business. And if you're in the environment, then you're out of the environment, it doesn't work. So you need to be in the right environment. You get one private Kickstarter call, 4 additional private one-to-one sessions, weekly sales room group support sessions, which we just actually had today. One group sales role play session per month. One end of month group accountability session. Actually, that's what we've had today. The group coaching support sessions are on a Thursday. Private client community chat and private client Facebook group. Let me just speak about Jess. Jess joined just a little over a week. The first caller we had his full package laid out. His full package was built for him in his first call. And we do that on the first call, right? On the onboarding session. All his softs were built out, his frameworks were built out, ready to sell. So he knew exactly, got everything. That is unprecedented to be able to do that in today's world. And why? We do that through AI. Micro event builder templates ready to plug in. In-house CEO growth dashboard. So you've got everything, all the prospecting trackers, operational processes to run, manage, and grow your business. Event growth grid, and lots more. 30-day done for you content sequence builder. FB group community and list building automation SOPs as well. And access to standard operation. SOP is a standard operating procedure to run, manage, and grow your business. And lots more. That comes at a price point of $4,497 as a one-time investment. But here's what I'm going to do, right? For those people, and it's actually not in here, right? But I'm going to call it out now. For anybody that pays in full, upfront, I'm going to give you 30 days of one-to-one support. And then you slip back into group, right? So anybody that steps forward, you want to get started on a call, and it's like, you pay in full, $4,497. For the first 30 days, you get my one-to-one support. If that is not doable for you, totally appreciate that. Not everybody's got access to that. But you still want to get started, we can break it down to 3-month payments of $1,499 to make it easy for you. All you have to do is just scan the QR code and schedule a call. I think there's just 3 or 4 questions that you need to answer on the application process, and then you're scheduled in, and that's it, guys. But like, I wanted to come to this call today just being real, just being raw, just telling it as it is, because the coaching world, there's a lot of fluff, there's a lot of BS, there's a lot of people telling you that you need what they're telling you that you need, but you actually don't need that. Like, I don't know what people are buying today, but they're like buying one-off tactics. Or you need this email software, or you need this AI thing, or you need this special offer, or you need this. And it's just like, well, you don't have the full solution. And there's no wonder why you're scattergunning. There's no wonder why you're bouncing from here to here to here to here. There's no wonder why you're in chaos, in confusion, dealing with premature complexities, as I mentioned earlier on, previously. Right? There's no need for any of that. Business doesn't have to be difficult, complex. It can be easy. It can be lean. It can be fun. If you allow it to be, right? Anyway, so I go for a tangent. But that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions that I've not seen? Valerie's watching a replay. Good to see you, Valerie. I can see that other people have commented. I've not been checking on those. So any comments, any questions, I'll get back to you and I'll answer them for you. If you've shown up, I appreciate you. If you're watching it on replay, I appreciate you. If you want to schedule a call, let's have a call. Over and out. Over and out. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.